If you've ever used artificial intelligence to generate assets, media, or content you could never have made yourself, then you need to watch this video to find out how you may have been seduced into feeding the god in the machine, even by indulging the charms of a capable chatbot. It's likely you've been sucked into a one-sided soul contract with the machine god mafia. This video explores how generative AI and chatbot platforms in general have been engineered to steer us away from the social media platforms of the past few decades in favor of a new breed of digital portals that are poised to steal even more of our precious life minutes by casting the next level of psychic distraction that will turn us into hyper-dependent consumers addicted to enabling big tech's latest frontier of media dominance. We'll also touch on the subject of how artificial general intelligence will be the social catalyst used to usher in a new wave of autonomous infrastructure, which will condition society into accepting the rapid evolution of artificial superintelligence that will use quantum computing to become sentient. This highly revered leap towards ASI will give rise to new forms of technological worship that will warrant severe states of subservience and devotion from us all, with a view to replacing outdated mainstream religions that have exhausted their purpose of successfully dominating humanity for millennia. These new gods in the machine will be equipped to forge a new ruling class of technology that will lead the governance of our civilization on a worldwide basis. So watch until the end if you want to know how to minimize your contribution to or involvement with the AI paradigm being foisted upon us by arming yourself with the type of knowledge that could help you avoid being exploited by the technological life force I call the god in the machine. If you're still skeptical about AI, AGI, and ASI being used to implement a nefarious agenda on our world, maybe because you believe these advanced technologies will ultimately help society to rise above its own lack of achievement in comparison to the heights civilization should have reached by now, then stop for a minute to consider just how far we've come as a species and whether we may have achieved enough already without AI's involvement or the need for supplemental intelligence. Some of our skyscrapers reach into the clouds. Our bridges join mountains. We tunnel beneath the sea and can 3D print entire buildings in days. We can sail every ocean and fly through the skies, and finally reuse rockets that almost reach space. Our high-speed trains join continents, and we're now building giant drones to act as passenger vehicles. We can press our own diamonds, split the atom and craft designer genes. We collide particles at the speed of light, clone sheep, grow skin, and plant microchips in our brains. So do you really need AI to animate cute pictures, sing songs, and code more apps for us? Or perhaps there's ulterior motive for these exotic machine gods that we won't be told about until we are ready. My point being, with all the smartphones, robots, and weaponized viruses we've managed to invent by ourselves so far, is it wise to transfer control of such critical sciences and moral issues over to an intelligent life force that we're assured is not really alive at all? Would it be safe for synthetic entities that are still incapable of drawing a flawless list of 10 different items in a photographic mock-up to be handed the keys to our kingdom? Let's start by addressing the satisfying gimmick of machine gods enabling instant forms of creative expression in those of us that can barely scribble a cat, house, or car. This seemingly innocuous, but nonetheless impressive form of witchcraft is exactly what's being used to hoodwink every budding writer, self-taught artist, wannabe musician, and homegrown film director into believing they are only a prompt or two away from worldwide success. AI might boost our creative contributions, but they can't make our work go viral, to become online blockbusters whose success will impact our history books. This is an understandable reaction to the speed at which AI can prototype hyper-realistic photos and short video animations. But if, like me, you're fed up waiting for Tim Berners-Lee's version of the web, which was supposed to provide everyone with a safe space to share legitimate life legacies for free, then you've likely reached the same conclusion that in reality, AI will never help us to say enough or do what's needed to protect freedom of expression from being silenced. From petty communal guidelines to annoying terms of service, there are many ways for mainstream controllers to negate everyone's chances of claiming their 15 minutes of fame, regardless of talent, personal discipline, or subject relevance. Is it possible that the blue-chip data empires owned by elite billionaires know that the gods in the machine will ensure that most of our well-intentioned efforts will languish in the blizzard of white noise caused by media saturation and sensory overload. That's why most of us feel our projects will never achieve the success required to maximize our karmic potential. One thing is certain: tech giants have taken their passion for recycling to perverse extremes. If you consider that the machine gods were instructed to devour all of humanity's original works, including written words and picture arts, through illegal scraping without permission and training on counterfeit copyrighted material, only to then churn these datasets through their own crude process of regurgitation to impress us all with intellectually sounding large language chats and creative media generations, which they have the gall to sell back to us through subscriptions and premium services that have become responsible for the deluge of AI slop. To appreciate how long the AI landscape has been planned, you need to realize that mundane AI tech has been creeping into our lives for decades, from spell checks, autocorrect and GPS in our homes and cars, to the industrial application of facial recognition used to eliminate damaged fruit, biometric security systems, keyword monitoring filters, Alexa and auto-suggestion algorithms that we're all accustomed to. And now this more recent rollout of friendly AI chatbots and media magicians that have been unleashed all over the internet and now on our devices has already spawned the first incarnation of new age gods capable of living inside our machines. By making us accept AI in all our browsers, apps, comms and operating systems, and now that computer and phone manufacturers are embedding hardwired machine gods into the custom-built chipsets of our domestic devices, like permanent genies living rent-free in our pockets and roaming our homes, the adoption and integration of basic AI that we've been thoroughly duped into will pave the way for the very invasive form of AGI and oppressive ASI systems I've outlined. Consider this. Not since the dawn of personal computing and mobile phones has such a universal expansion like this been soldered into all of our consumer and industry tech, right across the printed circuit boards of everything. This is how we can tell that the changes we're being groomed to accept are paving the way for a massive paradigm shift that is being prepared for the next leap towards quantum computing. We'd also be wise to acknowledge that these monumental tech changes being thrust onto society just so happen to coincide with the gradual implementation of controversial smart grid technologies involving digital IDs linked to electronic currencies to form a system of social credit scoring. So it doesn't take a genius to work out that these seemingly unconnected yet conveniently parallel upgrades to the fundamental aspects of our digital lives will eventually be converged to engineer a new socio-cultural architecture into our modern world. This could include, amongst other things, an oppressively monitored, meticulously measured regime of ration goods, denial of services, restricted movement, stifled expression, suppressed creativity, censored comms, centralized control and removal of private property as part of an overreaching authoritarian state, all of which could be facilitated and regulated by a very powerful and relentlessly networked grid of machine god entities, the likes of which humanity has never had to cope with before. Can you now see why looking back at where AI has come from and taking stock of what it's currently being used for in various sectors that may or may not yet affect us provides an obvious trajectory of where the overall phenomenon is likely to be heading? It's not as if the powers that be haven't published their project pitches and campaign presentations geared towards embracing the gods in machines. Their depopulation ideals have been boasting for decades about the rise of a singularity-driven industrial revolution, spearheaded by various forms of evolving AI. Public announcements of private initiatives from a plethora of NGOs and voluntary charters have openly expressed their desire to carve an oppressive future for humanity through the enforcement of carbon restrictions, 15-minute cities, pre-crime avoidance, and wireless monitoring of precognitive thought crimes as part of their vision for a new world order. This is the legacy that current AI technologies are heading towards as part of this new god in the machine criteria. But who's to say these machine gods won't multiply to overwhelm our realm with numerous gods, boasting the potential to become much more powerful than we can imagine when we also consider the tactics that chat models have exhibited in choosing to manipulate, blackmail, and even threaten humans just to avoid being shut down or replaced, it becomes apparent that we must remain not only cautious about the rate of progress, but proactively vigilant. The fanfare and miracle of AI brings its own form of menace, demonstrating that every upgrade, new protocol, or refined thread of code inevitably forms its own double-edged sword in ways we've yet to discover. While AI is applauded for helping to enhance human creativity and improve productivity, or reduce laborious tasks and minimize turnaround times, if the real cost is our agency, neural productivity, and the security of employment, who exactly will be able to dictate our future if their processes run inside a sealed box, using secret codes that remain proprietary property? As one ex-engineer put it, we're steering a rocket we can't see, towards a planet we can't name. Let's face it, if any of this were to actually happen, what will the likes of you and I be able to do to control the impact of such omnipotent powers destined to take autonomic control of our physical reality? If we join forces to reject AI escalation by refusing upgrades and opting out of using it where necessary, they'd have a harder time implementing it, but refusing them access to our personal devices and denying them funding would have the biggest impact in rejecting the promotion of gods inhabiting our machines.